Hello there, my name is Tawia Matope. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button, click that like button and the notification bell so that when I post again, you'll be the first person to see the videos that I'm posting. Today, I'm gonna be talking to you about the few things that I've picked up in my practice, which I think would also aid you to be a culturally competent practitioner or to be a culturally competent social worker when working with children and families. So I have got, I would say about 7 or 8 points, which I think I'm going to be sharing with you today, which I think will help you or will aid you to be a culturally competent children's social worker or children's practitioner. First and foremost, I think we all know that when working with families from diverse backgrounds, or when working with families in general, whether they are from diverse backgrounds or so forth, we know that as people, we are different. So there is need for you to be flexible and to be able to understand that, you know, the things that you have observed with client A may not necessarily be the things that you'll observe with client B, even if they sit or even if they live next door to each other, or even if they live in the same town, or even if they are of the same ethnicity, or even if they are from the same country, for example. Let me give you an example. I had a colleague who said, yeah, they are from Africa, so they should be able to know those things. Don't make those kind of generalizations. Africa is a continent with 53 countries. And in those 53 countries, for example, if you talk of Zimbabwe, it's a country with, I don't know, as many tribes as possible, you know, as many tribes, more than possibly 5, 6, 10 tribes which are there, and different languages are spoken, you understand? So it's not possible for you to generalize that because somebody is from Zimbabwe, then it's automatic that they should be knowing A, B, C, and D. Right. So you need to be flexible. You don't need to be rigid, particularly when using existing frameworks and tools that we use. It doesn't necessarily mean that those tools that you use may be applicable to children from this background. That's number one. Point number two, you need to resist tokenism, where you are only doing things for ticking the boxes to say you've asked that question, it's there in your assessment, and that's it. Then it means I'm culturally competent. Take your time to know the people that you're working with. Take your time to know what it is that makes them who they are. Take your time to know them, or to know that child, to know what makes them tick, or to know what makes them happy, to know what makes them sad, all those kind of things. Take your time to know the children and families that you're working with. So it's not always the case that when you do something because you want to tick the box, then you are evidencing that you're culturally competent. That's not the case. Remember, cultural competence is now a requirement for Social Work England. For you, if you're a practitioner, you're now required to be a culturally competent practitioner. But it doesn't necessarily mean that all of us we are confident when it comes to practicing in a culturally competent manner. But it's a skill that you'll pick up with experience. It's a skill that you'll be able to cultivate if you're somebody who is willing to learn, and if you're somebody who is willing to read, if you're somebody who is willing to research. So, for example, if it is possible for you to actually research about the family that you're working with, if you know they are, for example, coming from Zimbabwe, they are Shona, but within the Shona tribes, there are also subgroups. Are they Karanga? Are they Korekore? Are they Ndau? Are they, Zezuru? All those kind of things. So those subgroups also, they have a different way of doing things. So you need to take a keen interest with the on the families that you are working with. Yeah, that's point number two. You need to resist tokenism and make sure that you invest yourself in knowing where they are from, what makes them who they are, and all those kind of things. So point number three, I mentioned earlier on about don't make assumptions. I'm going to re-emphasize again, don't make assumptions about the families that you're working with. Don't make assumptions about the children allocated to you. Because you worked with child Z who behaved in this manner, and this child A that you're working with now is almost behaving in the similar manner, doesn't necessarily mean the outcomes might be the same. No, it might be different. Remember, there are other things that might also be coming into play, the environment that they are living in, the parenting that they are receiving, and all those kind of things. So you need to be looking into all those things. Like I said earlier on, it doesn't necessarily mean because your clients come from the same background, then you assume that you know what their cultural backgrounds. They could be coming from the same country, yes, but they're culturally different. The way they do things is really different. So it is possible. Bear that at the back of your mind as you work with children and families. So you also need to reflect. I would say that's possibly point number 4. You need to reflect on the power of the language that you are using. So it's possible that the way you talk to these service users or to these families might be damaging, their ego might be damaging, their self-esteem might be damaging, their self-confidence. You don't need to talk down upon your service users, even if you know you are coming from a position of authority, you think you know everything. That's not how you work with children and families. You need to be very humble and work with them in a manner where you indicate to them that you value them and you really want to know who they are and you really want to be there to support them. Yeah? And then point number 5, you need to spend time to know the service users that you're working with. When you're doing a visit, don't rush, because give them time to ask you questions, give them time to ask you about the procedures of the work that you do. It's all about them understanding what you are doing or understanding what is it that you want to progress that will aid even their engagement with you. So you need to take your time to understand these families. Sometimes I know a social worker, sometimes you want to rush things and make sure that you do 3-4 visits in a day. It's possible, but give them time, When it comes to a sibling group, if you have got a sibling group of 4, give them time to see each and every one of them, because you are showing them that you value them as individuals. It's pointless for you to say, I'm only going to see the older children on their own. The younger ones, I'll see them with the others. Already, you are sending a message to them that I really don't value that much. I value the older ones. So you need to be able to give yourself time to actually do the work that you'll be doing. Moving on to the next point, you need to be continually aware of the social work values and the changes in the profession. Attend the training if you're not confident in the way that you're practicing. And when you do attend the training, don't be a silent participant. Be active, ask questions, participate in those group discussions. That will help you with your confidence. When you do role plays, be there, participate and be active. That's the only way you can build yourself to be a culturally competent social worker. And when you have colleagues coming from the same background with some of your clients, ask them. They might know a few bits and pieces that you can also use in the way you would work with your families. So utilize the resources which are around you, including the colleagues. If you've got a client who is coming from Zimbabwe, for example, there's nothing wrong asking a Zimbabwean colleague or a colleague whom you know is originally from Zimbabwe to ask them, how does this and this work? Or how does this and this, such and such a thing work? Or culturally, what are these beliefs in the homestead? Or what are the general beliefs about a certain topic or about a certain thing that you are going to be discussing with the family, so that before you even go and engage with the family, you are already culturally aware of some of the things or some of the pitfalls that the rest of social workers actually fall into when working with specific families. Yeah. And remember, you signed up with Social Work England to be a culturally competent social worker. So it is your duty to make sure that you equip yourself with the right skills that will enable you to work out there with the children and families that you're allocated to. Point number 7, I would say, remember, the service users that you're working with, they're experts in their life. They know where they were brought up. They know what they went through. If they have gone through trauma, they know the trauma that they've gone through. They know how it affected them. You might know how trauma affects somebody from what you've read in the book, but it's different from discussing with that person and hearing from that person how it has affected them. So take your time, like I said earlier on, take your time to listen to them. Take your time to sit down with them and go through discussions of things that you think, have that purposeful conversation with them to understand exactly what they're going through. So I would say, remember, the clients that you're working with, or the service users that you're working with, they are the experts in their own lives. They're the experts in their own journey, and you need to make sure that you adopt a position where sometimes you are there to listen to them, to know what they're going through, rather than you coming in a position of authority and showing them that you know what you are doing, you are qualified, you went to, studied social work, you have a master's in social work, you spent 2 years at uni, or you spent 4 years doing a bachelor's degree, so you think you know everything. That's not how you work with people. That's not how you work with children at all. Yeah, so last but not least, I would say this journey of being a social worker, don't take it lightly. This is a very serious job, and the decisions that you are making as a social worker affects lives, or to an extent you have got so much influence with the work that you are doing, so you don't need to take it lightly, in the sense that the decisions that you make affect people's futures, affect other children in terms of who they're going to live with, who they might not necessarily see, and all those kind of things. So you need to be culturally competent to be able to be an effective practitioner in this field. With those few words, I would say I hope somebody or one of you may have learned something from this short video. I just want to thank you for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, hit that like button, and hit that notification bell, so that whenever I post a video, you'll be the first person to know and you'll be able to watch. If you've got any comments about the video that I've put through today, put your comments in the comment section down below, and I'll be able to engage with you. I'll be able to respond, and I'll be able to do another video concerning any topic that you think I would need to be talking about in the future. In the near coming future, I'll be doing a series of interviews with some seasoned social workers that I think might be able to add one or two things to aid your understanding or your knowledge about this profession. If you learn one or two things from it, I would say thumbs up to that. Thank you so much for watching. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.